The ocean is calm now. Too calm. The kind of calm that follows destruction. Hours ago, your ship was whole. The crew was laughing. The women were preparing for landfall. Now the deck is splintered, bodies float in the water, and the black flag that ended your voyage flaps lazily in the breeze. You are tied to the mainmast alongside the other surviving women. Your wrists ache. Salt burns your wounds. The ropes cut deeper every time the ship sways. Around you, pirates are gathering. Sunburned, scarred, half-mad men who haven't seen land in months and haven't seen mercy in years. One of them whistles, another laughs, a third says, "Captain will want a look at those ones." A cold wave of dread washes over you, because you know what's coming. Not from fairy tales, not from legends, but from whispered stories sailors told when they thought no one was listening. Stories of women captured at sea and the horrors that followed. Tonight, those stories are no longer whispers. They're your reality. And what pirate captains did to female prisoners on the high seas went far beyond anything the history books are willing to admit. If you stay until the end, you'll never see pirates as romantic heroes again. They showed you treasure, rum, swagger, jokes, freedom, adventure. But they didn't show you the side that mattered most to anyone captured by them. The fear, the cruelty, the obedience enforced by blades and rope, the rituals of humiliation older than any pirate flag. They didn't show you what pirate captains did when they wanted to reward their crew, or themselves. Heavy boots slam onto the deck. The men part like a wave splitting around a rock. The captain walks forward. His coat is stained with old salt and fresh blood. His beard is braided with coins stolen from dead men's pockets. One ear is missing. His eyes look like they belong to someone who has forgotten what mercy feels like. He stops in front of the prisoners. You feel his shadow fall over you. He doesn't blink. He doesn't smile. He just looks at each woman, slowly, deliberately, like a man inspecting cargo. Then he says the words every sailor feared. "Sort 'em." What comes next is not chaos. It is a process, a ritual, a system pirates invented, refined, and perfected over decades. The quartermaster steps forward with a battered ledger. It doesn't record treasure. It records human beings. Women are pulled from the line and placed into groups. 1. The captain's share, the most feared category. Women placed here didn't return to the deck until the captain was finished with them. No one writes what happened in that cabin, but diaries and court testimonies whisper enough to know it was not survivable without permanent scars. 2. Crew's reward. Women not chosen by the captain were thrown to the crew during celebration nights, an event so disturbing that even hardened naval officers used euphemisms to describe it. British Admiral Robert Sloane wrote, "Their revels with the female prisoners were of such nature that no Christian pen dare set them to paper." 3. For ransom or trade. You might think this was safety. It wasn't. Women held for ransom were kept under guard, watched constantly, and often handled to break their will before negotiations even began. 4. No use. The most chilling category. Young, old, injured, or defiant women were tossed overboard to lighten the ship and silence trouble. This wasn't punishment, it was policy. You are dragged across the deck. The wind stings your face. The pirates jeer, placing bets on who the captain will choose. Some shout suggestions. "Take the tall one." "No, the quiet one. She'll break easy." Captain likes the proud ones, more fun to tame. Their laughter feels like knives. You are shoved inside a doorway, framed by human fear. The captain's cabin. The door slams shut behind you. The room smells of rum, sweat, and crushed dreams. The walls are decorated with stolen portraits, women with soft eyes painted before their lives ended at sea. On the table sits a rusted iron collar, 2 lengths of rope, a branding tool heated in the nearby lantern flame. You understand instantly, this is not where he sleeps. This is where he breaks people. Court records from pirate trials reveal chilling details. Women were kept chained for days. Collars were used to force obedience. Branding marked ownership. Psychological torment was as common as physical punishment. Refusal led to immediate execution. One Jamaican magistrate wrote, "The captain's cabin became a chamber of obedience, where the screams of the female captives mingled with the roar of the ocean." Pirates are famous for the pirate code, rules like equal shares, voting on leaders, compensation for injuries, democratic decisions. All true. But there was a hidden chapter of the pirate code that no child's story mentions. A rule written not in ink, but in wounds. The captain has first rights. It appears in the trial transcript of Pirate William Fly. It appears again in the confession of Pirate Charles Vane, and in testimonies from survivors rescued by naval ships. One woman testified, the crew were beasts, but the captain was worse, for he believed it his divine right to do as he pleased with any woman aboard. This was not romance. This was domination. After a major victory, pirates held an event so terrifying that survivors referred to it only as the night. It happened on takeover of a ship, successful raid, escape from the Navy, finding treasure, or simply when cabin fever turned to madness. Women were dragged onto the deck so the crew could enjoy the spoils. The pirates called it freedom of the sea. Naval officers called it the terror no. Woman survived unchanged. A Spanish nun rescued by a British ship testified, better to be shot at sea than endure what the pirates do to women on their nights of victory. Her diary entry ends with, "I pray God erase the memory." What pirates did wasn't only physical, it was psychological. Women were threatened, isolated, deprived of water, forced to witness punishments, and made to swear false confessions to break their will. Some captains forced women to watch as disobedient pirates were flogged to death, a warning of what awaited resistance. Others kept women on deck during storms, tied to the mast, exposed to freezing rain, while pirates laughed and placed bets on who would collapse first. Survivor testimony from the Charleston trials says, "They delighted not only in her terror, but in making her believe that terror was all she had left." What happened next is rarely recorded, not because it didn't happen, but because most women didn't live to tell the full truth. Those who did spoke only in fragments. The cabin, the ropes, the smell of rum, his laugh, no escape, no mercy. I prayed for the sea to take me. Even in court, survivors broke down trying to speak. One woman fainted mid-testimony, another refused food for days. Another jumped from the ship that rescued her, unable to face land again. Pirates became legends. Folk heroes, symbols of rebellion and freedom. But those legends were written by men, not by the women who endured the consequences. For them, the pirate flag was not an adventure. It was a nightmare, a promise of suffering, a shadow over the sea, a symbol that the laws of humanity did not exist beyond the horizon. When you walk along the coastlines where pirates once roamed, the waves seem calm, peaceful, beautiful, but beneath them lie the wrecks of ships that carried women whose stories were never told. Women erased by the ocean, women whose names vanished between the tides. Their voices may be gone, but the truth still whispers across the water. Pirates weren't rebels. They were predators, and what they did to female prisoners went too far, even for the brutal world they lived in. If this revealed a side of pirate history you've never heard before, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're going to keep exposing the dark truths hidden behind the legends of the past. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next investigation into the darkest corners of history.